Hi, I'm Lou. Another episode of My Car Story. We're in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, and we just came from the Rock and Roll McDonald's here in Scottsdale. And I'm here with Bill. Bill, what's your last name?
Phillips.
Bill Phillips, and Bill's got a great car. That's why we're standing here. It's how hot is it, Bill?
108.
108 degrees. So both of us have a problem where we love cars so much that we come out for car shows like this. Bill, let's start off with you. First of all, how long you had the car?
9 years.
And you're a Porsche guy.
I am definitely a Porsche guy.
And this one you've had because you had another one and it got a little banged up and you said, let me go get this one.
Exactly.
How did this one become yours? How'd you find this one?
I did a national search for a 3.2 Carrera Targa.
Yeah.
I found this one in North Carolina. Nice old guy, car collector type of guy.
Yeah.
And so I flew to North Carolina and picked up the car and drove it back to Phoenix.
There we go. Let's take a look at our main event. Come on, right next to me.
Okay.
And there she is. One of the things right off the bat is you might be saying, why are there red marker lights? And I asked the question, I said, that's so they don't get chipped and broken. He says, that's exactly right. So this is a beauty, this one. What's the reaction when you're driving this? What's people's feeling? Because the Porsche market is really doing well right now.
Well, even before the market kind of took off 4 or 5 years ago, this car's always gotten a fair amount of love. It's a 911. People like old 911s. And so it's always gotten love, but now it seems like nowadays it's getting more and more. But it's a driver. This car has decent air conditioning. Only decent because it's an air-cooled car.
Right.
And it's got 162,000 miles.
Wow.
So there's no problem with piling miles on it. It's got cruise control that works. And, you know, it's a pretty comfortable car. It's fun to pop the top off if the weather warrants it. It's not off today because it's too darn hot.
I'm noticing if I put my hand here, you can see that you get just about a finger or two. But if you come to the back wheels, I can get a large chunk of my hand in there.
Yeah, the back wheels are 8-inch. The front wheels are 7s, I think.
How does this car handle?
Well, it handles great. I mean, I have done driver's education on racetracks in 911s, so I know how well it handles. It helps to kind of know how the car is going to react. If you go a little too fast into a turn and you get frightened and lift, as we call it, that's a bad thing to do in a rear engine car, and it can be a bit of a problem. But if you know what you're doing, you want to drive it, boy oh boy, they handle very, very nicely.
It can be some fun. There's actually a little back seat back there.
There is, yeah. Put these babies up and seat belts. In fact, this one's got rear shoulder harnesses, and so you could put a couple of kids in the back there safely.
Trying to make sure I could see the instrumentation with the sun kind of featuring right now. All stock.
All stock.
Which is just the way.
There's nothing about that interior.
Just the way it should be. Let's look at the engine compartment.
Okay.
I want to just get the
motor.
Love the little badges.
Oh, that's interesting too. You probably didn't notice, but that decal.
Yeah, tell me about that.
The old early 911s had a 2.2 liter decal like that in the back, and this was never done by Porsche. This is just something I found online, and it's a takeoff on that. It's completely the same deal, only it says 3.2, which is what this car is. And there's that little 3.2 motor.
You know, the one thing I like about the Porsches of this era is that you can actually see what you're looking at versus a big piece of plastic covering the engine.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, here you see why there's the venting for the extra radiator and all the wonderful little badges. I'll do that just so it doesn't show you can kind of see that in there. I'll do that. That might make it a little more
probably came from the factory with this tail.
The
tail is very controversial. A lot of Porsche guys think that a tail doesn't really belong on a Carrera. Certainly not on a Targa.
Let's keep that open for a second. Let's start it up. Let's start her up for a moment.
Oh, sure.
We'll start it up. We'll get a little exhaust note. Just a little gas. I'll do the video. You were saying about the tail.
Well, this tail, I'm convinced this tail came from the factory with this car, and it's a proper tail for an 89 3.2 Carrera. A lot of the 89 3.2 Carreras, since it was the last 6 months of this particular car, came with a lot of options. This wiper, I think, came on it as well. But a lot of people put a 930 tail on these cars, and I'd be the first one to say that tail does not belong on this car.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger tail. It's also kind of called a T-tray. It's got, the rubber is comes up on the sides, and it's just a deeper, bigger. It's not hugely bigger, but it's a different, bigger tail. This tail is appropriate for a Carrera.
Which is wonderful. Let's shut that. And Bill, let's have you stand right next to it. Come on up. We'll have you stand right in front of it.
Okay.
Bill, thanks for allowing me to video your car on My Car Story, and thanks so much. It was really a treat.
You're very welcome. Thank you.